Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome back to our lecture series of modeling technique. Our today's discussion topic will be data preprocessing. So before we start, let me tell you, data preprocessing is one of the most complex as well as the costly steps of the data mining procedure because it consumes not only the most of the time of the data mining or the steps, but also it's very costly as well as tricky because this particular title diagram may be giving you a concise idea regarding that. For example, we are in a data lake where the different sort of data, both in the form of structural as well as unstructural, used to be there, and it will be a very difficult and tricky task to find out the relevant knowledge pattern that is obviously data mining from this huge set of data lakes. That's why the data preprocessing will be that much of important from the managerial aspect. So let us start with our first slide. The definition of data processing as it is written is basically a data mining technique which involves transforming raw data into understandable. Now, the moment we are saying understable format, you just please pay attention towards this particular figure. The data from our operational or our OLTP database first used to be stored into the data warehouse after the ETL process called cleaning, extraction, transfer, load. And once successfully stored inside your data warehouse, then different type of data mining activities used to be performed on this prepared data. So the data preprocessing main aim is to provide a ready-made set of data by eliminating the different type of noise, inconsistency, duplicacy from the huge set of real-life data so that it will be convenient for the manager to make different type of robust business decision based upon this pre-processed data. Move on to the next slide. You see, the main importance why the data pre-processing are that much required is that the first, the data in the real world is mostly dirty. Now, the moment we are saying dirty, that means it most of the time is incomplete. For example, the user at the time of fill up the form or the surveys or any other sort of data capturing sheet may not given the proper information or incomplete information. So this incomplete information will be a very hectic task to identify as well as subsequently remove or taken care of. The second is the data may be noisy. Noisy in the sense that there may be some abstract concept or some non-linear concept used to be associated with the data. For example, if the salary, for example, will be minus $10, it will be a negative consequence. So it is not physically possible. Next, the inconsistency. Sometimes part of the data in a particular data set will be written differently, whereas the other part of the same data in the same data set will reveal some different fact, which will be always given a kind of inconsistency during analysis. So these are the main problems of the real life data. The second thing why the data preprocessing is required is that obviously for the data integration as well as for better transform of the data from the local to the global format. And it is always easier, better type of analysis as well as the analytics can be performed in order to reach to a final optimal decision making if your data will be pre-processed in a much more robust manner. So that's why the pre-processing are that much. Move on to the next slide. This is important. The major process or the tasks in data pre-processing are broadly classified into this 4-5 different parts. Like the first part of any data pre-processing is data cleaning. Now what do you mean by data cleaning? The data cleaning means we have to identify the missing value, noisy data, sometime inconsistency or the duplicate data and accordingly treat them. You see, the data cleaning is always looking after these 3-4 aspects. Once your data will be clean, the second thing is that you need to convert your local data formats into a global format so that it will be universally accessible from across the different corners. Like, for example, your set of data as a local office of a particular MNC company you are maintaining in Excel, whereas your peers sales team from some other market segmentation used to be maintained the same set of data using some other, for example, Oracle formats. That means there are different formats of data. So these data needed to be integrated. So this is the second steps of data processing. The third is data transformation. Let me tell you, the data transformation is the third steps of any data pre-processing task, which broadly focus on how your data will be seamlessly transformed from parsed manner into a much more structural format, into a global format. Next, the data reduction. This data reduction and the last one is data discrimination are mostly same, having some differences that I will be shortly discuss. The data reduction is one of the very tricky as well as the important component of any data pre-processing, because most of the time at the time of making your business decision, being a manager, you need not to concern about all huge set of data because that may not have any relevancy with your decision making. That's why it is desirable that only those portion of data or those columns or those attributes or the rows will be given to you by the data mining software so that it will be easier to make decisions. So the data reduction strategy is nothing but basically a set of integrated tools and techniques by which we will reduce the extra details which is not required for decision making process. It is also a part of PCA, principal component analysis, where out of a multi-dimensional data set of 3 or 4 dimensional multi-dimensional cube data set of data warehouses, we are going to be segregated those data into 2-dimensional in the simplest format which is required for vital decision making. You see from this diagram, you will be getting an idea regarding that. I hope up to this is clear. Move on to our next slide. The first steps of data pre-processing, as we discussed in our last slide, is that data cleaning. The data cleaning mostly deals with these 4 aspects. The first is identify and treating the missing value. Now, you see this particular Excel sheet over there. This is a CSV or the Excel sheet consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, where the yellow cells intentionally I have kept as null value. So since this particular column contain null value, this particular column contain null value, the mean of this particular columns or this particular columns is not possible to compute because it contains missing values or null values. Secondly, you see the red color row, which is basically the duplicate row. The row number 5 and row number 6 are same. That's why one of them I have highlighted. So these type of duplicate data set needed to be removed from your ultimate processing. Otherwise, your business decision may not be that much optimal, right? That means the data cleaning tasks are mostly deals with identifying these type of null values, and once this yellow color missing cells are going to be identified, they need to be better replaced with some other global constant like 0 value or the maximum value of this column or the minimum value, or many of the time they used to be replaced by the frequent occurrence values of the other cells. Like the same thing in peasant data mining algorithm across the different shopping portal used to be taken into account. For example, if some entities you have initially chosen, then you just rejected, then they, based upon your search prediction, the automatic data mining features of that particular portal used to be promote you that this particular items you might be missing from your shopping cart. Okay, so this is nothing but one of the prediction part of the data mining, which is basically depends on this frequent occurrence of that. Okay, move on to the next one. It's called identify the outliers. Let me tell you, we will discuss in one class thoroughly about the outliers. But for the time being, these outliers are basically the exception value, or which is completely different or completely surprising value from the other average values. So this value needed to be properly taken care. The third is obviously the correct inconsistency data and the repetition of data. So these four part, the data cleaning tasks will be looked after. In our lab classes, we shall try to explore by hands-on of all these four concepts using Weka, SPSS, R, and advanced. Next, how to handle missing data. There are different ways, like binning. Binning is nothing but you can consider like a small basket, a set of small basket where a group of observation you are actually keeping in each of this basket based upon their classified value. Now, this particular binning can done based upon the mean value, median value, any other boundary value. For example, one example is given that, for example, if there is a set of observation 4, 8, 9, 15, 21, and so on, and we can segregate this bin based upon the equal depth. For equal depth, what is required? For example, the 4, 8, 9, 15. This 4 will be kept equal with in one bin. The second bin contain 21, 21, 24, 25. And the third bin contain the remaining 26, 27, 29, 34. Right. So that is a partition of these data values based upon equal bin. Similarly, in the form of mean value, we also consider like this one. The first one is 4, 8, 9, 15 in one bin. If you compute the mean of this 4, 8, 9, 15, first bin is 9. So the bin 1 as per their mean value is 9. Similarly, the 5th, 6th, 7, 8 value mean is 22 point something, that is 23. And similarly, the third one. In this manner, you can make your bin. There are some other ways like regression, clustering in order to handle the noisy data. We have in chapter 5, module 2 of your modeling techniques syllabus. This regression we will thoroughly discuss there. Next, the data integration. Just recall our concept of our data warehouse and data bases. These are the basically the online transaction processing or the operational data through the extraction, transform, load process of data warehouse. The data from the operational database will be put into a statistical or the historical database, which is called data warehouse. Why it is data warehouse or statistical? Because they contain non-redundant, non-replicated, as well as time variant data. And once stored, the data warehouse will be allow the different type of data mining, business intelligence concept. So in this regard, the data integration will always gives a kind of provision so that the different set of data can be integrated together based upon the common values. For example, if there are two tables, for example, A is a table, database table, and B is another database table, and we are going to be merge these two tables, then we should merge these two tables on the basis of their common attribute which is present in both the table. For example, the customer ID of A table and customer ID of B table, that is the parameter on the basis of that these two tables are integrated. There are different other aspects like the entity identification problem. Sometimes one particular entity may have a different multi-value names. So it should be identified and treated accordingly. Sometimes there will be some data value conflict. So this needed to be solved. That's why the data integration is also a very integral aspect of data pre-processing, which is again a very important part of data mining. Move on to the next, data transformation. Once your data will be integrated, now it's the time to convert your local set of data into a global format so that it will be accessible uniformly to all. During transformation, the following set of strategy used to be implemented, like data smoothing by removing the noise in the term of outliers, the different type of aggregation, generalization, normalization. Normalization of the table you already aware of, like 1, 2, 3. Apart from that, we will also try to discuss different type of mean max normalization, Z normalization, so that it will be always a kind of scaling your arbitrary set of data within a specified range for better prediction. And the last and the most important part is attribute feature construction, where out of so many attributes, some of the attributes we will taken into account, which are very much confidential and important for analytical perspectives. Move on to the last part. You see, before going to the last slide, these are the different snapshot of normalization. For example, this is a table. This table have so many anomalies because the ID and the student last name, whereas the ID proof and the teacher's name, they are together making confusing state. Instead of that, if we just divide them into this type of lossless decomposition so that the student and the professor table will be completely separate and they are going to be integrated together by the grading system. So it will be much more easier. Second, the data cube aggregation. You see, these are the sales record of, for example, 2002 to 2004, which is a multi-dimensional data cube structure in data warehouse like this, something like that. But that is not feasible to be visualized by our naked eyes. So what we used to be do is that in terms of data cube aggregation, we can find out this type of abstract two-dimensional view from this multi-dimensional view at a stage for better processing. Next, the data and the noise parts sometime are used to be merged together. In that case, they should be properly treated so that the noise part will be eliminated as much as we can. So this is all about the different type of data transformation technique. Move on to the last. That is called data reduction strategy. The data reduction is required. Why? As I already said in the previous slide, that without data reduction, sometimes it will be very difficult for the analytics team who deals with unnecessary set of huge data set, which is not at all required for any kind of processing or decision making. So it's better to apply this type of data reduction strategy like data compression, where the data will be compressed. This data compression are again of two types. One is lossless data compression, and the second is lossy data compression. In case of lossy data compression, once your huge set of data is going to be segregated into 2 or 3 sub data set, then again from this sub data set, if you collect them the data, you may not be reached to your previous state. That's why they are called lossy, because during this data compression process, some of the data may be sampling is required when you are dealing with a huge set of population or a data set. It is not logical as well as acceptable that you take all the sample, all the things from all the corners of your data set. In that case, random sampling will be much more desirable. There are so many other like dimension reduction, where out of 10, 15 dimension, you are going to be reduce your dimensions based upon your desirable prediction. So these are the different data reduction strategy. Have a look of snapshot of that. For example, as I said, the dimension reduction are lossless and lossy. They are written there. Dimension can be reduced based upon their feature or the characteristics, or based upon the lossless factor or the lossy factor. Again, these things are written there. This is the sampling part, where out of huge population, we are taken into account only a part of that randomly in order to make our total selection. So this is all about the small discussion of data preprocessing. Join me in our lab classes to have a hands-on experience of each of them. Thank you.